The Sermon on the Mount. Its relevance in today's world. The Sermon on the Mount, one of the most powerful and well-known teachings of Jesus, has transcended centuries to remain deeply relevant in today's world. These teachings, which were given on a hillside in ancient Judea, offered a way of living that was centered on spiritual purity, humility, and compassion, which went against the values of the day. Beyond its historical setting, however, the sermon addresses contemporary human concerns like materialism, conflict, fear, and judgment problems we still face in our divided, fast-paced, and frequently turbulent society. The Sermon on the Mount provides a countercultural route based on kindness, forgiveness, and inner peace at a time of social injustice, divisiveness, and the relentless push to succeed and amass fortune. It pushes us to live lives driven by empathy and a more profound sense of purpose, rather than focusing only on outward accomplishment. We can gain important insights that aid in navigating the challenges of the 21st century while working to create a more compassionate and just world by looking closely at some of the sermon's most important lessons. The Beatitudes, an image of humility and compassion. The Beatitudes, a list of benefits that characterize the traits that Jesus cherishes: meekness, mercy, purity of heart, and a thirst for righteousness, are given at the start of the Sermon on the Mount. These ideals are countercultural, since they run counter to the emphasis on achievement, money, and power that is prevalent today. Nonetheless, the Beatitudes serve as a reminder that individuals who are modest, peaceful, and just are genuinely blessed in a world characterized by social unrest, inequality, and environmental difficulties. Values that can direct our behavior as individuals and as a society include the call to be merciful, to stand up for justice, and to console the bereaved. Being poor in spirit, for instance, challenges us to view humility as a virtue in a society that frequently exalts ego and self-promotion. The appeal for peacemakers, meantime, speaks to a world that is in dire need of communication, compromise, and peaceful means of resolving disputes. The Beatitudes can act as a guide for those who want to live lives that are characterized by empathy and service to others, encouraging social justice and moral rectitude in a way that addresses the issues facing the world today. Turning the other cheek. Strength through nonviolence. Jesus' command to turn the other cheek when you are hit is among his most powerful and difficult teachings from the Sermon on the Mount. This is far more complex than what could initially appear to be a call to apathy in the face of injustice. This idea, which is still very applicable in today's war-torn globe, is about ending the cycle of violence, retribution, and revenge. Jesus' teachings on nonviolence serve as a potent reminder that forgiveness and self-control are acts of strength, not weakness. In a world where violence frequently breeds more violence, whether via wars, marital disputes, or social upheaval. This idea of nonviolence has greatly influenced peaceful resistance, from grassroots organizations to the efforts of notable figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. Conflicts in interpersonal relationships, groups, and even between countries can be resolved by putting this idea into practice today. Love your enemies. Bridging disagreements in a divided society. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Perhaps one of Jesus' most radical lessons from the Sermon on the Mount is this one. This instruction challenges us to step outside of our comfort zones in a society that frequently stresses the us versus them mindset, whether in politics, religion, or social issues. Instead of widening gaps, it pushes people and communities to look for areas of agreement and respect for one another. Because of their opinions or backgrounds, people nowadays are frequently eager to declare others to be adversaries. However, overcoming these differences is the goal of the mandate to love our enemies. It is about striving for reconciliation and recognizing the humanity in everyone, including those who disagree with us. The concept of loving our enemies fosters an empathetic society where communication and forgiveness can triumph over animosity and retaliation, whether in the context of international diplomacy, social justice, or domestic conflicts. This lesson inspires us to overcome differences, promote understanding, and cultivate collaboration for the common good in the highly divided world of today. A universal ethic for contemporary society. The Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you is among the most famous lessons from the Sermon on the Mount. Almost all world faiths and moral systems base their ethical behavior on this straightforward premise, which is known as the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule is more important than ever in a world that is becoming more interconnected and where people, Nations and cultures are constantly interacting. The Golden Rule promotes justice, empathy, and respect for one another in interpersonal interactions, as well as in economic dealings and international diplomacy. It encourages societal harmony and collaboration by urging people to treat others with the same decency and kindness that they want to be treated. With human rights, social justice, and environmental stewardship at the forefront of today's society, the Golden Rule offers a straightforward moral framework for making choices that benefit both people and the entire world community. Heavenly treasures. Rethinking materialism and consumerism. Jesus' message on storing up treasures in heaven challenges the contemporary fixation with materialism in a world that frequently equates success with material accumulation and wealth. Jesus cautions against obsessing on material prosperity in the Sermon on the Mount, since it is ephemeral and prone to deterioration. He urges people to place more importance on spiritual principles, interpersonal connections, and deeds of kindness, things that are timeless. In the current era of materialism, where many people feel under pressure to keep up with the newest fashions, technology, and lifestyles, this lesson is especially pertinent. Stress, debt, and environmental damage are frequently the results of the drive for more material belongings. In contrast, the sermon's message promotes a life of serenity, charity, and simplicity. It serves as a reminder that genuine fulfillment stems not from material possessions, but rather from our actions, our interactions with people, and our contributions to the welfare of the earth and our communities. Anxiety and worry. Discovering calm among life's uncertainties. Jesus counsels his people to put their faith in God's provision and to not worry in the Sermon on the Mount. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. This message strikes a deep chord in the fast-paced, anxiety-driven world of today. Concerns about their jobs, money, health, and future in general overwhelm a lot of people. Stress and worry are among the mental health conditions that have increased as a result of the never-ending flood of information, obligations, and uncertainties. Jesus' teachings exhort people to let go of unneeded worries, concentrate on the here and now, and have faith in a greater plan. This implies that worrying about things that are out of our control deprives us of happiness and tranquility in the here and now, but it does not imply that we should shirk our responsibilities or stop making plans for the future. By encouraging people to develop mindfulness, thankfulness, and faith in life's course, this teaching provides a route to inner calm. Evaluating others, promoting compassion and comprehension. Jesus cautions, do not judge, or you too will be judged, in the Sermon on the Mount. This appeal for self-awareness and humility is still pertinent in the modern world, where harsh criticism and snap decisions are frequently encouraged by social media and public conversation. Jesus' teachings encourage us to start by looking inward in a time of cancel culture, where people are frequently evaluated on the basis of solitary deeds or words. He encourages us to acknowledge our own flaws and work on empathy and understanding rather than jumping to judgments about other people. This lesson cultivates an attitude of compassion, tolerance, and forgiving. It exhorts people to avoid assuming anything about other people and instead try to comprehend their problems, motives, and experiences. By doing this, we foster a culture that is more compassionate and inclusive, and where individuals are allowed the opportunity to develop, learn, and evolve. Final thoughts. A perennial gem of moral and spiritual instruction is the Sermon on the Mount. Even though it was given more than 2,000 years ago, its lessons are still very applicable in the modern world. The sermon provides a framework for both individual and community change. From the Beatitudes exhortation to fairness and humility to the bold mandate to love our adversaries, its teachings urge us to move away from materialism and anxiety and toward compassion, forgiveness, and nonviolence. The lessons of the sermon can be applied to our contemporary world to help both individuals and societies discover ways to improve moral integrity, empathy, and peace. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Sermon on the Mount, its relevance in today's world, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.